for child support in the same I went through with Scrappy right now. You a bitch. I went with Scrappy. That's what you are. You a bitch. That's what you are.
That is my
like you one thing.
You're
I don't give a about that, bitch. You're second best. He followed me to the Dominican Republic, and you know that hoe. He proposed to me first. He wanted to be with me. He wanted to marry me, and I left.
Let's see if he's with you now.
I left.
Why are you still arguing about your baby daddy?
You're second best.
What do you want
When
to
I
do?
see you in the street, shut it out.
Square up?
Oh, bitch, square the up,
Ain't
bitch.
none of that. No,
Bitch. You know I don't like you, bitch.
Oh, is it a fight?
Girl, what? Who am I doing?
Let me out. You ain't gonna do
I ain't paid by insurance
I was
yet.
slapping at you. Rasheed, I'm gonna be cold.
The city of Atlanta simmered with the usual summer heat, but inside the lavish home that Lil Scrappy and Bambi had built together, the air was thick with something far more dangerous than the humidity: betrayal. It was a betrayal that would unravel everything they had worked for, everything they had fought for, threatening to turn love into ashes. Bambi sat in their living room, her heart racing as her phone rang incessantly on the coffee table. She had just hung up with her lawyer. The news was devastating, a storm that she had never seen coming. It had been weeks of unease, little things slipping through the cracks, mysterious bank withdrawals, unexplained transfers, and now the truth was undeniable. The money was gone, and the one person she never thought would betray her was the one behind it. Her hands shook as she picked up her phone, glancing at the message from her lawyer once more. Erica Dixon. The name burned in her chest like an open wound. Erica, the ex who had always loomed large in Scrappy's life, the woman who had shared his past, the woman who had been part of the family in a way that Bambi could never erase, the one person Bambi had always thought she could trust, a distant part of the family, but nothing more, or so she thought. The $3 million was gone, stolen, funneling through a network of accounts, each more complex than the last, but the trail led straight to Erica. Bambi knew what she had to do. She had to tell Scrappy, but as she stood in the middle of their home, the place where they had laughed, cried, and built their dreams together, she felt a knot tighten in her stomach. Telling him would tear everything apart, but what choice did she have? Scrappy had been working late, trying to finish some music projects that had kept him busy for days. Bambi waited in the quiet, steeling herself for the confrontation. She didn't know how he would react, but she knew it couldn't be good. When he finally walked through the door, tired eyes searching the room, Bambi stood up. Her expression was cold, her hands trembling as she looked at him. "Scrappy," she said, her voice tight. "We need to talk." He dropped his bag by the door and frowned. "About what? You look like you've seen a ghost. What's going on? What's going?" Bambi didn't know how to start. How do you tell the man you love that someone close to both of you has stolen millions of dollars from you? The words felt like a punch in her gut. She swallowed hard and then spoke the truth, her voice shaking with both anger and disbelief. "Erica, she took the money. She stole it from me." Scrappy froze, his entire body going rigid. "What are you talking about? How could she do that?" Bambi's voice cracked as she held up her phone. "I have the proof. The wire transfers, the fake accounts. It's all there. She did it, Scrappy. She took the $3 million. The silence in the room was suffocating. Scrappy's face went pale, his jaw tightening as he processed what she was saying. He didn't want to believe it. Erica, the mother of his child, had always been a part of their lives in one way or another, but the thought that she could do something like this, it felt like a gut punch. Scrappy ran a hand through his hair, pacing back and forth, his mind racing. "Are you sure? You know how things can get twisted. You're telling me Erica took your money? I wouldn't be telling you this if I wasn't sure." Bambi replied, her voice cold with the weight of betrayal. "The money's gone, Scrappy. She's the one behind it. I don't know how else to say it. She's the one who stole from me." Scrappy stopped pacing, his eyes darkening. A flicker of something primal ignited in him. Anger, disbelief, and hurt, all swirling together. The tension between them thickened as the realization hit him. He didn't know who to trust anymore. The woman he had been married to, the woman who had borne his children, was now accusing his ex of something so monstrous. But what if it was true? "Damn it, Bambi," Scrappy muttered, running his hands through his hair again. His voice cracked, the pressure of it all pulling him apart. How the hell did it come to this? Bambi couldn't bear the pain in his voice. She had trusted Erica, trusted her as a part of their extended family, even when Scrappy and Erica had their differences. Now, with the truth out in the open, there was no going back. Scrappy turned toward the door, clenching his fists. "I need to think," he growled, his voice hard as stone. "I need space." It was a warm summer evening in Atlanta, the city buzzing with the usual pulse of nightlife and neon lights. But in one home, far removed from the glamour and lights, the air was thick with tension, anger, and betrayal. Bambi had always been a picture of grace and calm, her life seemingly perfect. A loving marriage to Lil Scrappy, a growing family, and a career that was steadily climbing. What could go wrong? But everything changed when the bombshell hit. Bambi revealed that Erica Dixon, her husband's ex, had stolen $3 million from her. It started on a quiet Thursday morning. Bambi had just returned from a business trip, her suitcase still sitting by the door. As she sifted through her emails, something caught her eye, an unexpected wire transfer that hadn't come from any of her usual partners. Confused, she checked the details and her heart sank. It was a massive sum of money, over $3 million, transferred out of her account. The transaction didn't make sense. She had trusted her financial advisor, but something felt off. Determined to get to the bottom of it, Bambi called her lawyer, who ran a full investigation into her account. After a few days of digging, the truth came crashing down. The money had been funneled through a series of shell companies, all of which led back to Erica Dixon, the woman who had once been part of their lives, but whose shadow seemed to linger much longer than Bambi had ever expected. Bambi was furious, betrayed not only by Erica, but also by the fact that her trust had been so easily manipulated. It wasn't just the money that stung, it was the sense of violation. She had always considered Erica a distant part of the past, but now the past had come rushing back, knocking on her door with a vengeance. She couldn't sit with it any longer. Her hands shook as she dialed Lil Scrappy's number, her husband of nearly 5 years. It took him a few rings to pick up, but when he did, the sound of his voice made the weight on Bambi's chest heavier. "Scrappy, we need to talk," she said, her voice tight with a mix of anger and disbelief. "What happened, baby?" Scrappy's voice was calm, but Bambi could tell something in his tone shifted. He was already anticipating something bad. "Erica, she's the one who took it. She stole the $3 million, Scrappy." Silence, the kind that hangs in the air, suffocating and thick. Bambi could almost hear his heartbeat through the phone, racing as the realization of what she was saying began to sink in. Wait, what? Erica? How could she? Scrappy stammered, his mind clearly reeling from the accusation. "I'm not making this up, Scrappy. It's all right here in black and white. I have the proof." Bambi snapped, her voice trembling with a mix of anger and heartbreak. Scrappy's emotions were a whirlwind. He couldn't believe it. Erica, the mother of his daughter, had always been a point of contention in his marriage to Bambi, but he never thought she would go so far as to steal from his wife. His mind raced. He had always tried to keep the peace between them, but now this. This was too much. He slammed the phone down and stormed out of the house, his fists clenched. He needed answers. He needed to confront Erica, but deep down, he knew there was more at play here than he could ever have anticipated. The man who had once tried to keep the peace between his ex and his wife was now being forced to pick sides in a betrayal that could tear everything apart. Scrappy pulled up to Erica's house, his rage bubbling over, but before he could even knock, the door swung open. Erica stood in front of him, a look of calm on her face, almost as if she had been expecting this confrontation. "Scrappy," she said, her voice sweet, but there was a hardness to it, a subtle arrogance that made him boil inside. "What are you doing here?" Scrappy didn't waste time with pleasantries. "I know what you did, Erica. You took the money. You took Bambi's money. How could you do that to her?" Erica raised an eyebrow, her lips curling into a smug smile. "You think I took it? That's funny. I didn't take anything that wasn't mine to begin with, but it's cute that you think you can protect her." Scrappy's anger flared, but he kept his composure. "You've got no idea what you're messing with, Erica. If you think I'm just gonna stand by and let you do this to my wife, you're dead wrong. You'll pay for this." Erica just chuckled, unfazed. "If you say so, Scrappy, but maybe you should take a closer look at who's really pulling the strings here. You might find some things you don't want to know." With that, she shut the door in his face, leaving him standing there, more confused and furious than ever. Back at home, Bambi sat on the couch, her thoughts racing. She had no idea how to move forward. The love of her life was unraveling in front of her eyes, and the woman who had been her greatest rival was now her greatest enemy. The $3 million wasn't just about the money, it was about trust, betrayal, and the darkness that could lurk behind familiar faces. Lil Scrappy returned home hours later, his face a mask of frustration and confusion. He didn't have answers, only more questions. But one thing was clear, their lives would never be the same again. The battle lines had been drawn, and no one knew what the final outcome would be. Bambi and Scrappy stood in the hallway, facing each other in the silence that now felt so heavy between them. Neither of them knew how to fix this, how to repair the damage that had been done, and in the midst midst of it all, Erica's smile lingered in their minds, a reminder that sometimes, even the people you trust most can be your greatest adversaries. As the story unfolded, it became clear that this was more than just a financial dispute. It was a war of loyalty, love, and the harsh reality that sometimes the people you love can betray you in ways you never saw coming.